Louisiana, land of swamp and mystery. In Frenier, folks knew Julia Brown. She was a conjure woman, powerful in ways most couldn't understand. Some called her a healer, others a witch. All agreed she held a power beyond the ordinary. Frenier was a small town, everybody knew everybody's business. But Julia Brown, she kept to herself, except when folks needed her help. She lived in a small shack, surrounded by herbs and roots. The air around her place always smelled different, like rain coming, even on a clear day. Folks would come from miles around to see her. They'd come for healing, for love spells, for protection. Julia would listen, her eyes dark and knowing. Sometimes she helped, sometimes she didn't. It all depended, folks said, on whether you were deserving. Julia Brown was a woman of many talents. She could deliver babies and tend to the sick. Her hands, rough from years of work, could soothe a fever or mend a broken bone. She knew the secrets of herbs and roots passed down from generations. But her real power, folks whispered, came from her connection to the spirit world. She could cast spells and curses, speak to the dead, and see the future. Some said she learned her craft from her grandmother, others from a voodoo queen in New Orleans. There were stories of her curses, men losing their luck, crops failing, sickness spreading. Whether these things were true or just coincidence, nobody dared to cross Julia Brown. Her power, real or imagined, held sway over the town. Julia Brown was a paradox. She was a pillar of the community, helping those in need. Yet she was also feared, her powers whispered about in hushed tones. Some saw her as a benevolent figure, a protector of the town. Others saw her as a dangerous force, to be avoided at all costs. Local townsperson too, mothers would warn their children not to anger Miss Julia. "Don't you be dissin' Miss Julia," they'd say, "or she'll put a hex on you." And the children, wide-eyed with fear, would steer clear of her shack. Even those who didn't believe in her powers treated her with respect. Because in a place like Frenier, where life was hard and unpredictable, it was best not to tempt fate. And Julia Brown, she was as unpredictable as the Louisiana weather. One hot summer day, Julia Brown walked through the town, her voice echoing through the streets. Julia Brown, a storm is coming, a storm like none you've ever seen. The waters will rise and the land will tremble. Folks gathered around, some curious, others afraid. They'd heard her predictions before, but this one felt different. Her voice held a sense of urgency, a chilling certainty. Some dismissed her warnings as the ramblings of an old woman. They had survived storms before, they could survive this one too. But others, those who had seen her power firsthand, listened with growing dread. They knew that Julia Brown's words were not to be taken lightly. And so, they prepared for the worst, stocking their homes and securing their belongings. In September 1915, a powerful hurricane slammed into the Louisiana coast. The storm surge overwhelmed Frenier, destroying homes and claiming lives. It was a disaster of epic proportions, just as Julia Brown had predicted. Eyewitness. After the storm, folks whispered that they had seen Julia Brown walking on the water, her laughter echoing through the wind. She was never seen again. Some say she perished in the storm, swept away by the raging waters. Others believe she escaped, her powers protecting her from harm. To this day, her story continues to be told, passed down through generations. Her legend serves as a reminder of the power of nature and the thin veil that separates the natural world from the supernatural. And in the whispers of the wind, some still claim to hear her voice, a chilling reminder of the storm that forever changed Frenier. Did Julia Brown truly predict the storm, or was it simply a coincidence, a trick of fate? In the end, it doesn't really matter. What matters is the power of belief, the stories we tell ourselves to make sense of the world around us. Julia Brown, whether real or imagined, represents the enduring human fascination with the unknown. She is a symbol of the power we ascribe to those who seem to operate outside the bounds of our understanding. And in that sense, her story will continue to resonate long after the last whispers of the storm have faded away. In the heart of Louisiana, where the land remembers, her legend lives on. A reminder that sometimes the line between reality and myth is as blurry as the Louisiana horizon.